I'm going to briefly revisit my position on marriage because too many nowadays, especially among conservatives, believe that the government has no role to play in defending the institution. I'm going to read verbatim a large portion of Chief Justice Brown's opinion from the Texas Supreme Court in the Grigsby v. Reib case from 1913. So here's what he said. Marriage was not originated by human law. When God created Eve, she was a wife to Adam. They, then and there, occupied the status of husband to wife and wife to husband. When God created the first pair, he gave them the command, multiply and replenish, or people, the earth, which was enjoined upon their expulsion from the garden. When Noah was selected for salvation from the flood, he and his wife and his 3 sons and their wives were placed in the ark. And when the flood waters had subsided and the families came forth, it was Noah and his wife and each son and his wife. And God repeated to them the command, multiply. All of the duties and obligations that have existed at any time between husband and wife existed between those husbands and wives before civil government was formed. The truth is that civil government has grown out of marriage. Marriage by cohabitation, not by contract, which created homes and population and society from which government became necessary to settle differences in matters of private interest, to protect the weak and to conserve the moral forces of society, to the support of religion and free government. In what respect does the contract of marriage of B and C contribute to their happiness? How does that marriage benefit society? It will contribute nothing to sustaining the dignity of the state, nor add to its citizenship. Such a contract, if it be regarded as such, is worse than a nudum, pactum, for it is without consideration or obligation to or from either party. Such life is in defiance of the commands of God and in disregard of every obligation to society and state. Such a transaction has but one element of a contract: mutual consent to do nothing for themselves, their country, or their God. The abstract theory has had little influence in the determination of the cause except to confuse the judicial mind. Contract marriages exist when the parties, for some pecuniary or social advantages, have desecrated the sacred status by their union. And such marriages often furnish business to the divorce courts and scandal to society. The term civil contract, as applied to marriage, means nothing now, for there does not exist the church's claim that it is a religious right. There is nothing to be differentiated by the language. It is obsolete. Marriage is not a contract, but a status created by mutual consent of one man and one woman. The method by which it is solemnized or entered into may be by proceedings prescribed by statute or by mutual agreement with cohabitation, but, however contracted, having the same elements and producing the status of husband and wife. The sole difference which can legally exist is in the method of expressing consent, and the only particular in which a marriage as at common law can differ from the statutory method is the absence of license in the ceremony. The cohabitation must be professedly as husband and wife in public, so that by their conduct towards each other they may be known as husband and wife. Such marriages may be equally the consummation of a mutual affection which will produce a home and family that will contribute to good society, to free and just government, and to the support of Christianity, to the common will. It would be sacrilegious to apply the designation a civil contract to such a marriage. It is that, and more, a status ordained by God, the foundation and support of good government, and absolute necessary to the purity and preservation of good society. When the wedding day of the parent ceases to be revered by the offspring, there will be a weakening of the family ties and a lowering of the standard of marriage. And that says volumes about the difference between a civil contract and marriage, and that a civil contract can never be on the level of marriage, nor should it be respected as such. Our government exists in this arena to protect and defend the institution of marriage. The benefits are numerous, and it's very clearly made in that opinion of the court.